The ice cracked beneath Wren Kendrick's feet with a sound like a gunshot. And one moment she was standing, the next she was plunged into water so cold, it felt like 1,000 knives piercing her skin at once. The shock of it stole her breath, her scream dying in her throat as the frigid pond water closed over her head. Finn Wilson was 30 feet away when he heard the crack. He'd brought his daughter Lily to the park's pond to feed the ducks, not expecting anyone to be foolish enough to walk on the barely frozen surface after the recent thaw. But there, she was a woman in an expensive-looking coat, now disappearing through a jagged hole in the ice. "Stay right here, Lily. Don't move," he shouted to his 7-year-old daughter, who stood clutching a bag of bread crumbs, her eyes wide with fear. Finn sprinted across the snow-covered ground, stripping off his coat as he ran. His heart hammered against his ribs as he assessed the situation. The woman had resurfaced, gasping and flailing. Her panicked movements were only making things worse, breaking more ice around her. "Stop thrashing," he called out. "I'm coming to help you." He dropped to his stomach at the edge of the pond, spreading his weight as he'd learned during his years as a wilderness rescue volunteer, before life had taken a different turn. He inched forward onto the ice, testing each movement. The cold bit through his flannel shirt, but adrenaline kept him moving. The woman's movements were already slowing a bad sign. Hypothermia would set in quickly. "Grab my hand." Finn reached out, stretching his arm as far as possible. Her eyes met his striking blue eyes filled with terror. She managed to extend her arm, but her fingers were inches from his. "I need to get closer," he muttered to himself, carefully sliding forward. The ice groaned beneath him just a little more. His fingers brushed hers, then caught hold. Her hand was ice cold, her grip weak. "I've got you," he said firmly. "Now work with me." It took all his strength to pull her toward him while maintaining his position on the fragile ice. When she was close enough, he grabbed her coat and heaved. With one final effort, he dragged her partially onto the ice shelf beside him. "We need to roll away from the hole," he instructed. "Follow my lead." Together they rolled slowly away from the broken ice, Finn taking the brunt of the cold and wet as they made their way to solid ground. By the time they reached the shore, they were both shivering violently. "Daddy." Lily ran to them, her small face pinched with worry. The woman coughed, water spilling from her mouth. Her lips were blue, her expensive clothes soaked and clinging to her trembling body. "We need to get you warm," Finn said, wrapping his discarded coat around her shoulders. "My truck's just over there. Can you walk?" She nodded weakly. "Thank you," she managed through chattering teeth. "Lily, grab my phone from my backpack, please." Finn helped the woman to her feet, supporting most of her weight. "I'm Finn Wilson, by the way, and this is my daughter Lily." "Wren Kendrick," she replied, her voice barely audible. "The hospital's 15 minutes away," Finn said as he guided her toward his battered pickup truck. "We'll get you there." "No hospitals," she protested. "I just need to warm up, please." Finn hesitated. She should be checked for hypothermia, but he understood the reluctance. Hospital visits were expensive, something he knew all too well from Lily's asthma treatments. "At least let me take you somewhere warm and get you into dry clothes." Wren nodded, leaning heavily against him. "My apartment." "It's not far." Once they reached his truck, Finn cranked the heat to maximum and wrapped Wren in the emergency blanket he kept in his glove compartment. Lily climbed into the back seat, watching the woman with curious eyes. "Is the lady going to be okay, Daddy?" she asked in a small voice. "Yes, sweetheart. She just needs to get warm and dry." Wren gave directions to a luxury apartment building in the city's most expensive district. Finn raised his eyebrows but said nothing. As they pulled up to the imposing entrance, a doorman rushed out, his face transforming from professional detachment to alarm. "Miss Kendrick, what happened?" "Skating mishap, George," she said, attempting a smile. "This gentleman saved my life." The doorman helped Finn get Wren into the building and up to her penthouse apartment. The contrast between the gleaming marble lobby and Finn's worn jeans and work boots wasn't lost on him. He suddenly felt very aware of the patches on his flannel shirt and the old truck parked outside. "Thank you, George," Wren said. "We'll be fine from here." Once inside her apartment, Finn stood awkwardly in the vast open living area, taking in the floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city, the minimalist but clearly expensive furniture, and the modern art adorning the walls. Lily pressed against his side, wide-eyed. "The bathroom is through there," Wren said, pointing down a hallway. "I need to get out of these clothes. Make yourselves comfortable." After she disappeared, Finn knelt beside Lily. "You okay, Lillipad?" She nodded. "Her house is like a castle, Daddy." He chuckled. "It's pretty fancy, isn't it?" They waited, Lily exploring the living room with careful steps while Finn made a mental list of all the tasks awaiting him at home: laundry, bills to sort, job applications to fill out. The construction company he'd worked for had gone under 3 months ago, and the part-time handyman work he'd picked up since then barely covered rent and food. Wren emerged 20 minutes later in soft-looking loungewear, her dark hair damp from the shower, color returning to her cheeks. She looked different, somehow younger and less formal, but no less striking. "I can't thank you enough," she said, approaching them. "You saved my life." Finn shrugged, uncomfortable with the praise. Anyone would have done the same. No, they wouldn't. She smiled, and something in Finn's chest tightened. "Most people would have called for help and waited. You didn't hesitate." "Well, I'm glad you're okay." He took Lily's hand. "We should get going. I'm sure you need rest." "Wait." Wren reached for her purse on a nearby table. "I want to repay you." Finn stiffened. "That's not necessary. Please, I insist." She pulled out a checkbook. "No, really?" His tone was firmer now. "I didn't help you for money." Wren paused, studying his face. "Then at least let me buy you both dinner." "You must be hungry, and I certainly owe you a meal." Before Finn could refuse again, Lily piped up. "I'm starving, Daddy." He hesitated, then nodded. "Dinner would be nice. Thank you." Wren's smile widened. "Perfect. I know a great place nearby. Just let me grab my coat." The great place turned out to be an upscale Italian restaurant where the host greeted Wren by name. Despite Finn's worn clothes, they were seated immediately at a prime table. Lily's eyes grew round as saucers at the cloth napkins and multiple forks. "Order whatever you'd like," Wren said as they settled in. "The pasta here is exceptional." Finn scanned the menu, wincing internally at the prices. His entire food budget for the week wouldn't cover a single main course. "So, Finn Wilson," Wren said, folding her hands under her chin. "Tell me about yourself." He gave her the abbreviated version: former construction foreman, now between jobs. Single dad to Lily for 5 years since his wife had decided parenting wasn't for her and left them both. No mention of the struggle to make rent or the stack of medical bills from Lily's last asthma attack. "And what about you?" he asked, deflecting the conversation. "I run a company," she said simply. "Kendrick Innovations." Finn nearly choked on his water. Everyone knew Kendrick Innovations, one of the largest tech companies in the country. "You're that Wren Kendrick," she nodded, seeming almost embarrassed. "CEO for the past 4 years since my father retired." "What were you doing alone on that pond?" he asked. A shadow crossed her face. "Taking a break from reality, I suppose. Things have been intense lately." Their food arrived: spaghetti and meatballs for Lily, lasagna for Finn, and risotto for Wren. As they ate, the conversation flowed surprisingly easily. Wren asked Lily about school and seemed genuinely interested in her answers about her second-grade class and her best friend Emma. "What do you want to be when you grow up, Lily?" Wren asked. "A veterinarian," Lily answered promptly. "I love animals, but Daddy says we can't have pets in our apartment." "Building rules," Finn explained. "No pets allowed." Wren nodded thoughtfully. "That's too bad. I always wanted a dog growing up, but my father was allergic." By the time they finished dessert, a chocolate lava cake that Lily declared the best thing ever, Finn found himself relaxing in Wren's company. Behind the CEO title, she was surprisingly down to earth, with a quick wit and a warm laugh. I should get this one home, Finn said eventually, noticing Lily's drooping eyelids. It's past her bedtime. Of course. Wren signaled for the check, waving away Finn's attempt to contribute. This is my thank you, remember? Outside the restaurant, an awkward moment hung between them as they prepared to part ways. Thank you again for today, Wren said. Not just for the rescue, but for the company. It's been refreshing. We enjoyed it too, Finn replied, surprised to realize how true that was. Maybe we could do it again sometime. She looked uncertain, a vulnerability in her expression he hadn't seen before. Before Finn could respond, she handed him a business card. My personal number is on the back, if you ever want to grab coffee or… Thank you, he said, accepting the card. I'd like that. The smile she gave him lingered in his mind during the entire drive home. The next morning, Finn stared at Wren's business card while waiting for Lily to finish getting ready for school. The memory of Wren's smile made his heart beat a little faster, but reality quickly sobered him. What was he thinking? She was a CEO, living in a world completely different from his. Still, his fingers itched to call her. Ready, Daddy? Lily bounded into the kitchen, backpack in hand. After dropping Lily at school, Finn headed to his handyman job at Mrs. Peterson's house. The elderly woman needed various repairs done, and though the pay wasn't great, she always sent him home with homemade cookies for Lily. As he fixed a leaky faucet, his phone rang with an unknown number. Finn Wilson, he answered, tucking the phone between his ear and shoulder. Finn, it's Wren Kendrick. His heart skipped. Wren, hi. I hope I'm not catching you at a bad time. Just fixing a sink, he said, tightening a pipe fitting. What can I do for you? I have a proposal. She sounded businesslike now. My company's maintenance supervisor just quit, and I need someone reliable to oversee the facilities team at our headquarters. The pay is good with benefits. Would you be interested? Finn nearly dropped his wrench. A stable job with benefits. It seemed too good to be true. Why me? He asked cautiously. You don't even know my qualifications. You mentioned your construction background yesterday, plus I've Googled you. She had the grace to sound slightly embarrassed. Your former employer gave you an excellent reference when I called this morning. You did your homework, he said, both impressed and unsettled. I always do, but this isn't charity, Finn. I need someone competent and you fit the bill. He thought about the steady paycheck, the health insurance for Lily, the possibility of eventually moving to an apartment that allowed pets. But he also thought about the complications of working for a woman he was undeniably attracted to. Can I think about it? He asked finally. Of course. The position is yours if you want it. Just let me know by Friday. After they hung up, Finn sat back on his heels, mind racing. Was this a genuine job offer, or did Wren feel obligated to help him? And why did the thought of seeing her again make his pulse quicken? That evening, as he helped Lily with her homework, he broached the subject carefully. Remember the lady we helped yesterday? Miss Kendrick? Lily nodded, pencil paused above her math worksheet. The one from the fancy restaurant. That's right. She offered me a job at her company. Lily's eyes widened. Are you going to take it? I'm thinking about it. It would mean better hours, more money for us. He tapped her worksheet. Maybe even a new apartment where we could have that puppy you've been asking for. Really? Lily launched herself into his arms. You have to take it, Daddy, please, he laughed, hugging her tight. It's not that simple, Lillipad. Why not? Why not indeed? Pride, maybe, the worry that accepting help from Wren somehow diminished him. Or perhaps the more complicated fear that working closely with her would only intensify the attraction. He felt an attraction that surely couldn't lead anywhere. But looking at Lily's hopeful face, Finn knew what his answer would be. The next morning, he called Wren. I'll take the job, he said when she answered. Excellent. Her voice warmed. Can you start Monday? I'll email you the details. Monday works, and Wren, thank you. Don't thank me yet, she said, a smile in her voice. You haven't seen what you're getting into. Kendrick Innovations headquarters was a gleaming tower of glass and steel in the heart of downtown. Finn felt out of place in his best button-down shirt and only pair of khakis as he approached the security desk Monday morning. "Finn Wilson," he said to the guard. "I'm starting today as maintenance supervisor." The guard checked his list. "ID, please." After verifying his identity, the guard handed him a temporary badge. "Miss Kendrick asked that you go directly to her office on the top floor." The elevator whisked him up 50 floors, his stomach lurching both from the rapid ascent and from nerves. The doors opened to a reception area where a polished young man looked up from his desk. "Mr. Wilson, Miss Kendrick is expecting you." He was shown into a corner office with breathtaking views of the city. Wren stood looking out the window, dressed in a tailored navy suit, her dark hair swept into a sleek updo. When she turned, her professional demeanor softened into a genuine smile. "Finn, welcome to Kendrick Innovations." "Thank you for the opportunity," he said, suddenly very aware of his discount store clothes. "Let's get you settled." She led him through an orientation process, introducing him to the HR director, the facilities team he would be managing, and showing him his office, a modest but comfortable space on the building's lower level. By lunchtime, Finn's head was spinning with information, but he felt cautiously optimistic. The job seemed straightforward enough, overseeing maintenance, repairs, and building operations. The team seemed competent, just in need of leadership. How about lunch? Wren suggested, appearing at his office door. "There's a good deli in the building." Over sandwiches, she asked how his first morning had gone. "Honestly, it's a bit overwhelming," he admitted, "but in a good way." "You'll get the hang of it quickly," she assured him. "I have complete faith in you." Their eyes met, and for a moment, something electric passed between them. Finn looked away first, clearing his throat. "I should ask, is this going to be awkward? You being my boss?" Wren considered the question. "It doesn't have to be, we're both adults." "And the fact that you offered me this job because I pulled you from a frozen pond?" She smiled. "I offered you the job because you're qualified. The fact that you saved my life just meant I noticed you. Consider it fortunate timing." Finn wasn't entirely convinced, but he nodded anyway. The weeks that followed fell into a comfortable rhythm. Finn threw himself into his new role, quickly identifying inefficiencies in the maintenance systems and implementing improvements. The regular hours meant he could drop Lily at school each morning and be home in time for dinner, a luxury he hadn't experienced since she was a toddler. His interactions with Wren remained mostly professional, though they occasionally shared lunch or crossed paths in the building. Each time, that same spark flickered between them, but neither acted on it. One Friday, a month into his new position, Finn was inspecting the HVAC system on the roof when his phone rang. It was Lily's school. "Mr. Wilson, Lily had an asthma attack during recess. We've administered her emergency inhaler, but she needs to go home." "I'll be right there," he said, heart racing. He called his team leader to cover for him and was heading for the elevator when he ran into Wren. "Finn, what's wrong?" she asked, noting his worried expression. "Lily had an asthma attack. I need to pick her up from school." "Of course. Go, take the day." He nodded gratefully and rushed out. At the school, he found Lily in the nurse's office, pale but breathing normally. The nurse explained that cold air during recess had triggered the attack. "It wasn't too bad this time," Lily said bravely as he drove her home. "Emma stayed with me until the nurse came." "I'm glad you're okay, Lillipad." He squeezed her hand. "How about hot chocolate and a movie on the couch this afternoon?" Her smile was answer enough. They were halfway through The Lion King when someone knocked on their apartment door. Finn opened it to find Wren standing there, holding a gift bag. "I hope you don't mind," she said. "I wanted to check on Lily." Finn was stunned. "How did you know where we live?" "HR records," she admitted. "I probably shouldn't have, but it's okay." He stepped back to let her in. "Come in." Their apartment was modest, a small 2-bedroom in an aging building. The furniture was worn but clean, the walls decorated with Lily's artwork. "Lily, look who came to visit," Finn called. Lily peeked over the couch, her face lighting up. "Miss Kendrick, I heard you weren't feeling well." Wren offered the gift bag. "I brought you something." Inside was a stuffed dog that looked remarkably like the one Lily had described wanting during dinner that first night. "Thank you." Lily hugged the toy to her chest. "I'm going to name her Maple." "A perfect name," Wren said, smiling. "How are you feeling?" "Better now," Lily said. "Daddy and I are watching The Lion King. Want to watch with us?" Wren glanced at Finn, who nodded. "We'd love the company." The three of them settled on the couch, Lily between them, clutching her new stuffed dog. By the time Simber reclaimed Pride Rock, Lily had fallen asleep, her head on Wren's lap. "She's exhausted," Finn said softly. "The attacks take a lot out of her." "Has she had them long?" Wren asked, gently stroking Lily's hair. "Since she was 3. Usually they're manageable, but sometimes." He shook his head. "The winter is always worse." "The health insurance from Kendrick should help with her medications," Wren said. "It already has." Finn's voice was rough with emotion. "I can't tell you what a difference that's made for us. I'm glad." Her eyes met his over Lily's sleeping form. "You're a wonderful father, Finn." "I try to be." He looked down at his daughter, his heart full. "She's my whole world." "I can see that." Wren's voice was soft. "It's beautiful to witness." When Finn looked up again, Wren was watching him with an expression he couldn't quite read. For a long moment, they just looked at each other, something unspoken passing between them. "I should go," she finally whispered, carefully shifting Lily's head onto a cushion. Finn walked her to the door. "Thank you for coming and for the gift." "It was nothing." She paused, hand on the doorknob. "Finn." "Yes, would you? Would you and Lily like to come to my place for dinner tomorrow? I'm not much of a cook, but I can order in." His heart raced. This felt like more than a friendly invitation. "We'd like that," he said. Her answering smile made his breath catch. After she left, Finn stood in the doorway for a long moment. What was he doing? Getting involved with his boss, a woman so far out of his league, it was almost comical, could only lead to complications. Yet he couldn't deny the pull he felt toward her, or the way Lily had already warmed to her. The next evening, Finn found himself standing in Wren's penthouse again, this time by invitation. Lily twirled in the open space, admiring the view of the city lights coming on as dusk fell. "It's even prettier at night," she exclaimed. Wren emerged from the kitchen, more casual than he'd ever seen her, in jeans and a simple sweater. She looked younger, more approachable. "I ordered from that Italian place you both liked," she said. "I hope that's okay." "Perfect," Finn replied, unable to take his eyes off her. They ate at her dining table, Lily chattering happily about school and friends. As they finished dessert tiramisu for the adults, gelato for Lily, Wren suggested they watch a movie in her meteor room. The meteor room turned out to be a home theater complete with reclining seats and a screen that took up an entire wall. Lily's jaw dropped. "This is amazing," she whispered reverently. They settled in to watch an animated film, Lily nestled between them again. Halfway through, she dozed off, worn out from the excitement. "I should get her home," Finn said when the movie ended. "Of course." Wren looked at the sleeping child with tenderness. "She's wonderful, Finn." "She is." He gathered Lily into his arms, her head lolling against his shoulder. Wren walked them to the door. "Thank you for coming." "Thank you for having us." He shifted Lily's weight. "I had a really nice time." "Me too." She hesitated, then leaned forward and pressed a gentle kiss to his cheek. "Good night, Finn." The spot where her lips had touched his skin burned pleasantly all the way home. Over the next few weeks, their relationship evolved cautiously. Dinners at her place became a regular weekend occurrence. Sometimes they went to the museum or the zoo, always as a trio, with Lily as their enthusiastic companion. At work, they maintained professional boundaries, though knowing glances and brief touches in passing became more frequent. Finn found himself thinking about Wren constantly, her laugh, her intelligence, the way she listened intently when Lily spoke, treating the child's opinions with genuine respect. He was falling for her, hard and fast, but doubt lingered. Their worlds were so different. What could he possibly offer someone like her? One Saturday, In early spring, Wren suggested a picnic in the park, the same park where they'd met. The day was perfect, warm sunshine melting away the last patches of snow. Lily ran ahead to the playground while Finn and Wren spread a blanket near the pond, which was now fully thawed. "Hard to believe it's been 3 months," Wren said, looking at the water. 3 months since you decided to take a stroll on thin ice," Finn teased. She laughed. "Best poor decision I ever made." Their eyes met, and Finn felt that now familiar surge of attraction. He wanted to kiss her, had wanted to for weeks, but something always held him back. "Finn," Wren said softly, "I need to tell you something." His heart clenched. Here it comes, he thought. The "let's just be friends" talk. "I'm falling in love with you," she said instead. He stared at her, certain he'd misheard. "I know it's complicated," she continued. "I'm your boss. Our lives are very different. But these past months getting to know you and Lily." She took a deep breath. "I've never felt this way about anyone." Finn found his voice. "I'm falling for you too," he admitted. "But Wren, are you sure? I'm a single dad with nothing to offer someone like you." "Someone like me?" Her brow furrowed. "What does that mean? You," he gestured helplessly. "Successful, wealthy, brilliant. I'm just a maintenance guy trying to keep his kid in asthma medication." "That's not how I see you at all." She took his hand. "You're the man who didn't hesitate to risk his life for a stranger. You're a father who puts his daughter above everything. You're kind and honest and hardworking." Her voice softened. "And when you look at me, I don't feel like a CEO, I just feel like a woman." The sincerity in her eyes broke something open inside him. Finn leaned forward, cupping her face in his hands, and kissed her. Her lips were soft, yielding, then eager against his. His heart pounded as she wrapped her arms around his neck, pulling him closer. When they finally broke apart, they were both breathless. That was. Wren whispered. "Yeah," Finn agreed, resting his forehead against hers. "Daddy, miss." "Kendrick, look at me," Lily called from the monkey bars. They turned to wave, both smiling. "She adores you," Finn said. "The feeling is mutual." Wren squeezed his hand. "So where do we go from here?" "Honestly, I don't know." He looked at her earnestly. "But I want to find out." The weeks that followed were filled with discoveries: how Wren hummed when she cooked, badly. How Finn could fix anything with enough duct tape and determination. How perfectly Lily's small hand fit in each of theirs when they walked together. There were challenges, too. The first time a photo of them appeared in a business tabloid, Kendrick CEO dating employee, Finn was horrified. Wren brushed it off. "Let them talk," she said. "I'm not ashamed of us." At work, some employees whispered about favoritism, though Finn's competence quickly silenced most critics. HR suggested Finn should report to the operations director instead of directly. To Wren, a change they both welcomed to avoid conflicts of interest. As spring turned to summer, their relationship deepened. Lily began calling Wren by her first name instead of Miss. Kendrick, and Wren included her in small decisions, from movie choices to weekend plans, making the child feel valued and heard. One warm June evening, they sat on Wren's balcony after Lily had fallen asleep in the guest room that was increasingly filled with her toys and clothes. "Move in with me," Wren said suddenly. Finn looked at her in surprise. "What? You and Lily, move in with me?" Her eyes were earnest. "This place is too big for just me, and you're both here most weekends anyway." "Wren, I don't know." The thought of living in her luxury penthouse, of becoming more dependent on her, made him uneasy. She read his hesitation correctly. "Is it because you'd feel like you're living off me?" "Partly," he admitted. "I need to stand on my own feet, Wren, to contribute." She thought for a moment. "What if we found a new place together? Something that would be ours, not just mine? You'd leave this place." He gestured at the stunning penthouse. "It's just a place, Finn." She took his hand. "What matters is that we'd be together, all three of us." The way she included Lily, always, was one of the things he loved most about her. "I love you," he said, the words coming easily now. "And yes, let's find a place together." They found a townhouse with a small garden big enough to feel spacious but not ostentatious. Most importantly, it allowed pets. On moving day, after the furniture was arranged and boxes were at least partially unpacked, Wren disappeared for an hour and returned with a squirming puppy in her arms. "For Lily," she whispered to Finn, "though I suspect you'll love him too." Lily's shriek of joy when she saw the golden retriever puppy could probably be heard blocks away. She named him Chance, because Daddy says it was chance that you fell in the pond and he saved you, and that's how we became a family. The word family hung in the air between Finn and Wren, full of meaning and possibility. That night, after Lily had finally been persuaded to leave Chance sleeping in his crate and go to bed herself, Finn and Wren sat on their new couch, a bottle of champagne between them. "Happy?" she asked, nestling against his side. "Happier than I've ever been," he answered truthfully. "You know," she mused, "when I walked onto that pond that day, I was at my lowest point. The company was doing well, but my personal life was empty. I felt frozen. And now," she smiled up at him, "now I feel like I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be." Finn kissed her softly, then reached into his pocket. "I was going to wait, but now seems perfect." He pulled out a small box and opened it to reveal a modest but beautiful diamond ring. "I saved for months," he said before she could speak. "I wanted to do this on my own." Tears filled Wren's eyes as she looked from the ring to his face. "Wren Kendrick, I love you. The way you care for Lily, the way you see me really see me. Will you marry me?" "Yes," she whispered. 1,000 times yes." As he slipped the ring onto her finger, Finn thought about that day at the frozen pond. One moment, one decision to act, had changed everything. He had pulled a stranger from icy waters, never knowing that she would thaw the parts of his heart he'd kept frozen since his wife left. "What are you thinking?" Wren asked, admiring her ring. "That sometimes the greatest warmth comes from the coldest beginnings," he replied, drawing her into his arms. Outside their window, summer stars twinkled in the night sky. Inside, the home they had created together was filled with the promise of tomorrow, a family forged not by chance alone, but by the choices they had made to love each other, day after day, across all the distances that had once separated them.